Hello guys and welcome back. You're watching the Camera64 Podcast and I am your host, Alfonso Chavez. And as always, I'm coming to you from sunny San Antonio, from here in the garage. And guys, this is super excited. You always hear me say San Antonio, but now that the Spurs are back in season, they got their first game under the belt and they are looking fantastic. Are they perfect? Absolutely not, but they do look really good. Their first game against the Houston Rockets ended in a really tight race, but those are exactly the kind of games that they were in last year, where they just couldn't keep it together and would fall apart at the end of the game. But just the fact that they were able to build such a big lead, lose the lead, and almost be in a losing situation, but yet were able to hold off the Rockets in the final minutes is amazing, guys. That's exactly what we wanted to happen here in San Antonio. We were always close in every single game that we played last year, and I think the addition of CP3, which is essentially having a coach on the court, is really going to help them out this year. So all those close games that we had last year, I think are going to become be converted into wins this year. Unlike last year, where we did fold up kind of like a cheap suit, like I always talk about with my Dallas Cowboys, who are folding up like a cheap suit. But aside from all of that, guys, I'm super excited for the season. I will talk some Spurs on here on occasion, and if you have a favorite team that you're watching that's not here in San Antonio or not even in the States, let us know what that team is. And maybe we can talk about that too, especially if it's an NBA team, because I really like to watch NBA basketball, especially my San Antonio Spurs. But today, guys, on the show, photography, right? That's what we're here to talk about. I want to talk about Facebook. So here of late, my daughter-in-law has really been taking over the actual advertising and running ads on Facebook, as well as just kind of going through all these different groups for weddings and quinceañeras and different events that are going on throughout the city, not only here in San Antonio, but in Houston and nearby Austin, in Houston, right? And so we're always looking for new jobs. But here of late, she's been sending me, because every time that she runs into something that she sees on Facebook and she's not quite sure how to answer it, or if she sees something interesting, she'll let me know about it so I can talk about it here on the show, right? And one of the things that she's been noticing is that we've been getting a lot of requests very last minute, like 2 weeks out or 3 weeks out, or sometimes just like the event we just did 2 weeks ago, it literally was 3 days out. They called us and they said, hey, we had a photographer, but we paid him in full, and now he's letting us know that he's not going to be able to make our event. That, to me, guys, is just crazy. So I wanted to talk about that. Like, what are their expectations, right? These new photographers, I get it, you're new, right? And you're trying to make your name in the business. But if you're booking events and you're taking money, or even just deposits, right? You're not even taking the full amount. If you're taking a deposit for an event that's happening 3 or 4 months down the road, to be really successful in this business, guys, I highly suggest that you absolutely make consideration for the fact that you are taking that deposit. So what do I mean by consideration? The way that I handle it now, I personally have only had one event that I can think of in my nearly 20 years of doing photography where I could not make it. But fortunately, I do have a lot of connections. I have friends that are also photographers, really good friends that would help me out if I ever needed help. And also I offer myself, if somebody ever finds themselves in that situation, if I'm available and I'm not doing anything, I will absolutely go and cover for somebody if they call me, because again, this is something that you have to be thinking about when you're booking these events, right? Every event, I put it on my calendar and I'm planning for it. Just like they're planning for it, I am planning for their events just as well. I need to make sure that I'm going to be there. I have to make sure that if cameras need to be repaired, I send them out, get them back. I make sure that that the batteries are charged, just the whole 9 yards, right? Everything that's involved in getting that event photographed and video if that's what they're paying for, right? Whatever it is that they're paying for, and whatever it is that I said that I was going to be there to do, and I took that deposit, I am 100% wholeheartedly am going to be there. And I have worked some events when COVID hit, not the year of the COVID, but the year after, because I didn't get COVID when it happened, but I got it afterwards, and I was really sick, and I went wearing this huge mask, which I absolutely hated, but I wore the mask, right? And I got through the event. I was burning up, fever, the whole 9 yards, but I got through the event, had my mask on. So it is possible. It's just the dedication that you have to have to it. This is kind of when you hear people say, "Oh, I'm dedicated, I'm into it." This is what they mean is that even if you're not going to get paid, would you go do that? Would you continue to do it? That's what they mean. That's what they're talking about. When you're not feeling well, are you dedicated enough to go out there and do the job, guys? As a new photographer, if you are taking deposits and you are delivering on everything that you're promising that client, you cannot go wrong in this business. You just can't, right? You just can't. There's just no way. If you're following through, you're staying dedicated, you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're showing up on time, you're dressing nicely and appropriately, you're maintaining your equipment, you're delivering great customer service on the day of and before as well as after, and you're also delivering products, photography and video on time, right? And so how are some of the ways that you make sure that you do that? So we have backup cameras for everything, right? So we have 2 video cameras, we have 2 backup cameras, we have 2 photography cameras, we have 2 backups. And that goes for everything. That includes flashes, that includes people that are going to work. So I don't show up by myself. I always plan to have a team with me. That's usually my son, my daughter-in-law, and sometimes my younger son, Anthony. If he's available, he'll go and help us out. And then I also, if it's a really big event, especially weddings, I like to call my friends and say, hey, this date, can you put this date on your calendar as well, because this is a big wedding and I want to make sure that if I can't make it, that you can be sure. And I do that because it's important to me. Those clients, those people are like family. I treat them like family, guys. And if you're treating your customers as family, do for them as you would want somebody to do for you. If your vendor, your food vendor, your DJ, right? You would want them to show up for your event. So you absolutely want to show up for their event. And I promise you guys, if you do this, you will always have business. There's just so many events going on. I mean, this is San Antonio, and I can't speak for the whole rest of the country here, but San Antonio, us Hispanics, boy, we celebrate everything. We celebrate first birthday through 15. Then we have their quinceañeras. We have graduation from high school. We have graduation from college. We have weddings. We have, you name it, baby showers. We have divorce parties, we got graduation party, we got wedding parties. We got it all covered, right? I mean, we celebrate for everything, right? And so there's just not enough photographers to cover the amount of events that are happening every single day. There's just not. I mean, there's just not enough photographers to cover everything. So is it a problem, right? Is it a problem that you have, that you're taking money from people? If you're not sure, I mean, let's put it this way. When I was a new photographer, this would be my scheme, right? As a new photographer, I'm going to charge you, okay? But if you want to make a donation for the pictures that I'm taking for you today, I am really looking forward to buying this nice new camera or this nice new lens or whatever it is, right? And you kind of plant that seed. I cannot tell you how many times, and I've told this story here before, is that sometimes I did one time, I'll never forget, a family reunion. They were getting together. I said, I'm not going to charge you. I'm just going to go out there, we shoot. And each family kept handing me money, right? By the time I was done, I ended up doing like $400 or $500, guys, for like a 1 hour deal. and I wasn't even charged. But why? I showed up on time, right? I did the job. I got the pictures edited, and I got them back to them all in orderly time. Everything just, I took the money and I delivered on my promise. So here's my challenge to you. If you're a new photographer, I want you to concentrate and not only do what the minimum is or what it is that you're delivering, but actually in your mind mentally think about, how can I deliver just a little bit more? How can I make this more of a value, right? And so here are some of the things that I do, and I still do to this day, is like when I talk about books, I always tell them I'll deliver a 10 by 10. Well, I never do that, right? I always deliver a 12 by 12. I always tell them I can get you an 8 by 10 print, but send over 5 or 6 pictures, and then what I do is I do 5 or 6 8 by 10s, and then I might make one of those that I like. If they chose a picture that I like, I'll make that one into a big old poster for them. It's little things like that. For seniors, I like to sometimes when the senior comes up, sometimes I'll make the parents a shirt with the picture that I took on there, or sometimes I'll make them a mug. And these are little trinkets, guys, that you can go. You can get them like not a dime a dozen, obviously, but like $10. So a $10 mug with somebody's picture on it will go a long way. Not only making them happy, but they're gonna talk about you, and they're gonna say, well, he said he was gonna do this, and he delivered this. Like, he delivered way above. So for big events, I always tell people, if it's photos only, it's about a 2-week turnaround, and then usually I get that back within a couple of days. If it's photo and video, I'll tell them, oh, it's gonna take me 4 weeks to get this all together for you. And if it's at all possible, I always try and do that in 2 or 3 weeks, so that way they're expecting 4 weeks and I got it done in 3 weeks. So I look like the big hero, right? This guy knows what he's doing, right? I know exactly what I'm doing. So that's the whole case, right? So it's a setup too. You got to set yourself up to where what you're promising, you're able to deliver, and not only just deliver, but actually over deliver. That's where you want to be. So hopefully, guys, I'm praying that each and every one of you is able to kind of get into it, because that's the whole thing, right? This is something that you can't just say, oh, I'm gonna do it because I love photography, because sooner or later you're gonna realize that yeah, I'm taking pictures, I'm a photographer, but at the end of the day, it is a business. I do have a time constraint. There's X amount of hours I have to spend before the event. There's X amount of hours I have to spend on the day of the event, and then there's X amount of hours I have to spend to actually get everything together, prepared and ready for delivery. It all takes time, and you realize that, oh my gosh, I'm not charging enough, or I'm way undercharging, right? I need to be charging more than what I'm actually charging, because if not, I'm actually doing this for free. If I'm doing 40 hours of work and only getting paid for 8 or 9 hours, is it really worth it? I mean, if you like doing what's the word, not free, if you enjoy doing welfare, no, what's the word, doggone it, I'm drawing blank, but you get the idea, right? If you enjoy doing stuff for absolutely nothing, then I guess that's what you like doing, right? In that case, it's a hobby, right? Which is okay. I'm not downgrading you at all, by no means. Having photography as a hobby is a great idea. It's a great way to go out and have fun. It's a great way to meet people. If you're single, being a photographer is amazing. I'm a married guy, but if I was single, I could see where this could lead to, maybe, meeting somebody. Absolutely, because you're talking to a whole lot of people. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move on from that point. And the other thing that I really chapped my hide, I don't know if any of you are a part of this Facebook group, but it's called Canon Photography. And it's got photographers, not just from San Antonio. That particular group is all over the United States. And I think it's from all over the world, because I've seen people on there from China and India and Asia and all these other different places. And I am always offering up my advice, my help, inspiration. I try and give inspiration. Sometimes I'll even tag my website on there, which is camera64.com, if you want to go check it out. And I do it not as a means to show off, not as a means to say, hey, my work is better than yours. That's not what it's about. It's just about inspiration. For some people that are asking, how do I get started, or what kind of pricing should I do, or what should I include? So you can go to my website, you can see this is what I charge, this is what I include. There's sample galleries in there for weddings, quinceañeras, for families, the whole 9 yards, sports. And I tag myself, not all the time, but every once in a while, just to get people inspired, right? And so there was a lady on there, I don't know where she was from. The post has already been taken down because I wanted to go back and take another look at it. Maybe I thought that I had said something wrong, but the lady was simply gave a list of things that she wanted. She wanted in a camera, right? She had a 6D Mark II. And she was saying one of the things that really caught my attention was the fact that she said that her camera wasn't able to do high-speed sync, which, you know, I know every single Canon digital camera. I've basically shot them all at this point. There's only very few exceptions, but I know which ones have high-speed sync. And I just knew for a fact without even having to look it up, which I ended up later looking it up just because I doubted myself, right? Did I give her the wrong information? But no, in fact, I was right. The 6D Mark II does. I mean, yeah, the 6D Mark II does in fact have high-speed sync, and so I was right. I just told her, I said, hey, you need to make sure you get a flash that supports high-speed sync, and if you do, you want to turn it on in the flash, and you want to make sure that you also turn it on in the camera to make it available so that the systems are able to talk to each other, and it'll work. And she just went off on me. Like, she just went off, like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. I didn't ask, you know, you're telling me about other stuff. Why the hell did you post your website? I don't want to see your website. And I mean, this lady just went all crazy on me. And I just told her, look, God bless you, God loves you too, just like God loves me, he loves you too, and therefore you're my brother, I love you too. That was my post back to her, because I was just like, are you kidding me right now? I'm trying to help you out. I'm giving you, you know, legit advice to let you know that your 6D Mark II is a very good camera, and that chances are, if you're not getting good pictures, or your high-speed sync supposedly is not working correctly, it's something that you might have to study up on. And I didn't say that directly, although I mean, that's what I was thinking, right? But I didn't say that directly. I beat around the bush a little bit just to kind of push her in that direction, and she just took it the wrong way. How I was trying to do it nicely. I didn't know how else to do it, right? But anyway, she went off on me, and I get so frustrated. I'm like, oh my gosh, do I really want to give any more advice to people that just don't want to listen, right? It's like, you know, you're asking professionals for advice, and then when we give it to you, you don't want to hear it. It's kind of like the delusion of the world that we're living in right now, right? But I just wanted to share that because I thought it was funny. At first I didn't think it was funny. I just thought it was just plain rude, but after, when I thought about it a little bit, it kind of gave me some giggles, and I just kind of laughed it off. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. If you're on the Canon, I think it's called Canon Photography Facebook group, I'm on there too if you want to join me. But that's been my video for today, guys. I just want to let people know that, hey, if you're committed and you're doing the things that you're supposed to be doing, and if you're taking people's money, that you absolutely should be just delivering on this. It's that simple, guys. I want everybody to be successful. I don't come on here to say that I'm better than you. No, that's not what I'm trying to do at all. I want you guys to be just as successful as me. I want your website to grow just as mine is growing, and the biggest reason, because I want you to be co-workers, right? If we're kind of in the same ballpark as far as pricing goes, I don't look at you as competition. I look at you as a co-worker, and I want everybody. If it was up to me, I would like everybody to be co-workers, right? We're kind of offering similar services. We're all friends, and we kind of get to hang out afterwards and stuff like that. I would absolutely love that, right? So if you're in San Antonio, you want to do something like that, if you want to hang out and talk shop, shoot me a message to my website. It's like I said, it's www.camera64.com. But that's been my podcast for today. This is Monday, so the Spurs are once again playing a back-to-back with Houston. So they're getting ready to play with Houston right now, and I'm gonna go ahead and catch that game, and I'm sure I'll talk about it in the next video. But till next time, guys, pick up your camera. If you don't know it fully, take the time to kind of learn it. Watch some YouTube videos on it. There's a whole lot of things that you can look for, a lot of things you can read up on now for free, right? I had to pay for it, all the knowledge that I had to pay for it because it wasn't free. I had to go to Scott Kelby and buy all his books, which are great reads, by the way. If you want to get one, Scott Kelby has some awesome photography books, so you can pick one up off of Amazon. I don't get paid for any of that, but they are great reads. I did learn a lot from some of those books. But yeah, go out, take some pictures, study up, learn your camera, guys. Really learn your camera, because we don't get better unless we learn and practice. If you don't learn and practice, you're not getting better. It's that simple, guys. So till next time, guys, take care, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Peace. Peace.